What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. We're going to get into NXT from February the 25th, 2024. A pretty okay show for the most part. The NXT and TNA crossover continues to work wonders for both promotions, for all parties involved. This is really good. I'm really digging the partnership. And NXT is building towards Roadblock, which is going to be in 2 weeks. It used to be where Roadblock would serve as their final pay-per-view before Stand and Deliver. But it's going to just be a television show, which is fine. And the way it's shaping up, it looks like it's going to be a pay-per-view on television. So I'm very excited for Roadblock in 2 weeks. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Stephanie Vaquer, she defeats and retains her NXT Women's North American Championship by defeating Carmen Petrovic. Pretty good match. Carmen Petrovic looked really good in this match here. I'm actually a fan of Carmen Petrovic. I'm surprised that Ashanti Diadonis didn't get involved in this, but it is what it is. Stephanie Vaquer got the win via the SVB for the 1-2-3. So she did the nasty dragon screw leg whip, which is nasty how she does it. That being Stephanie Vaquer, and then she hit her finish, SVB for the 1-2-3. Okay, that's cool. Good there. So post-match, Julia comes out. Stephanie Vaquer claims to be the best champion. Julia disagrees. And Stephanie Vaquer reminds that she's the champion of champions. She reminds Julia that she's the champion of champions. She says that they're friends. So, how about a champion versus champion match? And this is going to take place at Roadblock. This is great. I get where they're going with this. I'm thinking, would Triple H call up Julia or Stephanie Vaquer up so early? To me, I feel like both of them need more time. They just got there. They haven't even been there a year yet. Not even basically 6 months. And I don't understand why they're rushing to really call one of them up. But it is what it is. The NXT women's roster is stacked from top to bottom. Even the mid-card is pretty good. So I see what Shawn Michaels is doing. It makes sense. Although, this is something that I thought they were going to work towards as we get closer to Stand and Deliver. I thought they were going to do that there, but it's not going to happen at Stand and Deliver. So that's fine. They're doing the Adam Cole, Keith Lee scenario from about, what was that, maybe 5 years ago. They did that in 2020, I believe. So, there's that. That's fine. But if Stephanie Vaquer loses, does she just go straight to the main roster? And the same would apply for Julia, but we have to wait and see. So, I'm fine with it. I'm down for it. I'm a fan of both girls. And let's see where this will lead. Moving on. So, Ariana Grace, she's backstage with her father, Santino Marella. So they talked about the significance of having TNA's first title defense on WWE television. So Lola Vice joins the conversation. She's looking for a fight. Ariana understands where Lola's coming from, but they're not taking walk-in meetings, not right now, and they have a lot to discuss. Lola says that Ariana is a better beauty pageant queen than she is a liar. So how about Miss NXT battles Miss MMA later on tonight? unless no one in her family taught her how to fight. Lola says she'll see Ariana later. Okay, that's fine. Really good shit there. Really cool. I think it is time for Lola Vice to go to the main roster. I think she's ready. She's been there about a good 2 years. And it seems like Lola Vice has kind of gone down on the pecking order of things. She's not really where she needs to be. She's not in the top, in the main event scene for the women. And she's not really in the mid-card all that much. She's doing like low mid-card stuff. But I wouldn't be shocked if she gets called up, because at some point in time, you do have to call up some of these women from NXT, and I do think that Lola Vice is sort of kind of ready. She's okay on the mic. She's obviously attractive. She can go in ring, and I think she could do okay on the main roster. Even though I don't want her on there at least for another year, but it is what it is. And Ariana is Ariana. She does great character work. Her and Chelsea Green would actually make an excellent tag team. Better than Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. That's just me, though. Moving on. So Lexis King, he runs into Oba Femi in the backstage area. He says that he has the home field advantage tonight. After Lexis King is done whooping Moose in his hometown, the only match people will be looking forward to is the Ruler versus the King. And that's not going to happen. Moving on. So Moose defeats Lexis King. He retains the TNA X Division Championship via the Spear. The match was fine. This was one of Moose's better matches. I think he brought a lot out of Lexis King. Lexis King was able to hit the coronation in the middle of the match, but Moose kicked out. Moose ended up doing a crossbody, which was really cool. It popped the crowd. And like I said before, Moose wins via the Spear. So post-match, Oba Femi comes out. He says this is what everybody wants to see. He says, at NXT Roadblock, it's going to be Oba Femi versus Moose for the NXT Championship. Great. I love this. This is awesome. Again, I'm not a fan of Moose. Moose sucks. He fucking sucks. But I do get the aesthetics. I mean, you know, the aesthetics of this. It makes perfect sense. This is a good match on paper, obviously. Moose is what, 6'6"? I believe Mike Rome said he was 270. Oba is what, 6'6", 6'7"? About maybe 310. So this should kick ass. And obviously, Oba should retain. So, yeah, this is fine. Moving on. So, Kalani Jordynne, her and Jetta Parker, they get into a verbal shouting match for whatever reason. It happened on the talent travel bus. I don't get the point of this feud. I don't get why they're feuding. It makes no sense. I'm guessing maybe you could turn Kalani heel, but I don't know. I mean, I get the aggressiveness that she's showing as of late from a character perspective, but what's the end goal to this shit? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's the end goal to all this? Why are they feuding? And it doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Moving on. So, we get a Sean Spears promo, and I'm just like, oh my God, really? Ugh, this sucks. So he says NXT of the talented, the future, but the misguided. He says his goal is to guide high-quality, high-performing individuals, shun them from any kind of negativity, and find their inner light. Brooks Jensen, the former champion, who was spiraling towards termination, left out in the cold after a complete transformation of mind, body, and soul. He's now exactly who he's been searching for all along. Nico Vance, a prototype of physical characteristics, a beacon of rage, whose metamorphosis comes from within. His ferocity is not a curse, it's a gift. It's a gift to use on this NXT roster. One piece is still missing. Izzy Dame, the embodiment of beauty Every move, every decision, calculated, and every word that she speaks, premeditated. Now, some would call that manipulation. I call it strategy. Izzy Dame understands that if you control the narrative, victory is not only the inevitable, but it's guaranteed. And now his family is complete. Tony D'Angelo, you never really saw it coming, didn't you? There's a new family to take over NXT. The only thing left to do is take the North American Championship next week. This is fine. This was a pretty okay promo. It explained everything as to why the group is established. It makes perfect sense. But the main thing is, will Shawn Michaels pull the trigger on Shawn Spears and end up giving him the title? I hope not. But if you are going to, do it, you might as well just go ahead and do it just to continue the feud. You could, you could do the rematch at Roadblock, and you can end the feud at Stand and Deliver, maybe. That might be what happens. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of Shawn Spears. He fucking sucks, but I get what they're doing with his stable. So I guess then they're giving Shawn Spears and his band of misfits a push, I guess. Ugh. May the Creator help us all. Moving on. So Jordynne Grace, she comes out. She gets on the mic. She knew from the moment she stepped into a WWE ring last year, she knew where she belonged. She walked in as an outsider, carrying the weight of an entire company on her back. Spending time in the NXT women's locker room, feeling the hunger. She knew she had to be a part of it. When Pink came to paper, she didn't hesitate. She had one singular goal: to become champion. She believes that the NXT women's division is the best in the world, which is correct. She says she knows that Stephanie Vacker and Julia both felt the shift. They felt the foundation they laid beginning to crack when she arrived. She said she heard what they had to say earlier on, but whether they like it or not, it's only a matter of time before she's standing here again, not next to them in the ring, but across from one of them. A juggernaut is finally unstoppable, and a juggernaut is unstoppable. And so then Roxanne Perez comes out. She makes fun of Jordynne Grace, that being Roxanne Perez. She says that she'll take her back to TNA. She says whether it's from a different promotion or sports or on SmackDown, everyone wants to be a part of the division that she made famous. She said she's put the NXT women's brand on her back for the last 12 months. She says to Jordynne Grace, it's one thing to be at the top of the TNA Knockouts division, a big fish in a small pond. She said this is her division, so you're in her world now. She told Jordynne that she doesn't call the shots. This is her title. And so Jordynne Grace pokes fun at Roxanne Perez, saying, where's your title? Roxanne says, this is not how we do it in TNA. She said if she doesn't watch her mouth, she'll send her back into TNA. She said there's a gap between us since last year, and it's still here. That's why she's going to Toronto. She's going to win the Elimination Chamber. She's going to WrestleMania, and then she's going to become Women's World Champion. And then in due time, they're going to call her Roxy Two Belts. And then Jordynne Grace punches Roxanne Perez in the face. And Roxanne was about to eat a fireman's carry, but she got out of it, and that was it. So this is a pretty good little segment. It seems like they're going to feud Roxanne Perez and Jordynne Grace. I don't know. This might be a one and done type of thing. I think that Roxanne Perez is going to get called up. She's already made basically her main roster debut last week, so it will make zero sense for Jordynne to lose here. So I'm guessing maybe this is a one-and-done thing between Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez, and then Roxanne goes onto the main roster. So I have to wait and see. But this is a pretty okay little segment. Moving on. So, Javon Evans is backstage. He tells Trick Williams not to worry about Eddie Thorpe. Javon feels like they're going through the same thing. So Trick takes exception to that because Javon Evans is fighting over a smile while he's fighting over the NXT Championship. Trick tells Javon to stay in his lane. Javon asks Trick if he's about to crash out. Trick says he is about to crash out. I'm like, damn. So before things get escalated, Ricky Stanks comes in. He introduces himself to Trick. So Trick gives Ricky a fist bump, and then Ricky still doesn't get all the anger issues in this place. Okay, pretty good stuff there. Moving on. I like how they are making Trick Williams kind of like crash out. They're kind of making him work, towards being NXT champion again. And I think he will get that opportunity at Stand and Deliver. So I like what they're doing with Trick. He's in his redemption arc right now, which is great. Moving on. So Sarah Schreiber, she has a backstage interview with sexy-ass Jada Parker. Jada says that Kalani messed up. She had the right idea, but the wrong woman. Kalani lost her mind since losing the North American Championship. Kalani's lack of confidence is not Jada's problem. Jada doesn't play. The title opportunity that Carmen Petrovic just fumbled, that was supposed to be Miss Parker's to begin with. When it comes down to it, there may be a him in WWE, but in NXT, Kalani is not her, and she's going to find out exactly why Jada Parker don't play. Clock it. I love that. That was great. I love how she took a shot at Carmelo Hayes, because Carmelo and Kalani are dating, so that's pretty cool. So I like that. That's nice there. Nice little jab. Great shit there. I love Jada Parker. She kicks ass. Good shit. I just wish we knew more as to why they were feuding. Again, Jada's a heel, and Kalani Jordynne, at best, would be a tweener, I guess. I don't know. Moving on, the Hardy Boyz, they defeat No Quarter Catch Crew. This was great. The Hardy Boyz got a great standing ovation. The Hardys got the win via the Swanton Bomb. The crowd was rocking all throughout this. This was great. So, Fraxium, they were watching the match. And then, post-match, Fraxium, they welcome the Hardys to NXT. Matt says that he loves NXT. They're very impressed with Fraxium. Nathan Frazer says they're standing in the ring with the greatest tag team of all time. Jeff wants to challenge Fraxium to a match to see who's the best tag team in the world. Then Santino Marella shows up. He gets a great ovation. He says at NXT Roadblock, it's going to be Fraxium versus the Hardy Boyz for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. This is great. And apparently the Hardys are going to be on the main roster to work a couple matches and stuff. That should be cool there. So I do like that. Nice. Really good shit. I love NXT. It kicks major fucking ass. Moving on. So we get a vignette of the family. The Don was beaming with pride with how Stacks was standing up for the family last week. He calls Sean Spears a tough guy, and he'll handle him next week. The Don understands where Stacks is coming from, and he's looking out for the family, but he has to fight Sean Spears. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. So, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, they show up. They have a confrontation with Sol Ruca and Zarya in the trainer's room. Chelsea says that Sol Ruca and Zarya are just like Zelina Gomez and Benny Blanco, destined to fail, and they would never stand a chance against her. Piper Niven then makes a tag match, and she accepts the match on Chelsea's behalf for next week. And then Chelsea, she was not happy about that. Really good stuff there. I like it. Excellent shit. Moving on. Lola Vice defeats Ariana Grace via the back fist. Makes sense. So, we get we get the mysterious Rogue Renegade group they lay out no quarter catch crew in the backstage area. That was kick ass. So nice. Moving on. So we get an Eddie Thorpe vignette saying that he's going to hurt Trick Williams. It's not over. It's not over between the two of them. Moving on. So Ava has a backstage interview with Sarah Schreiber in the crowd. Ava says that NXT Roadblock, there's going to be title versus title. Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer. One woman will leave Madison Square Garden with 2 titles. Nice. Really good stuff there. Main event of the evening. Ricky Saints and Javon Evans. They defeat Ethan Page and Wes Lee. Match was solid. The crowd was into this thing as well. Ricky gets the win via the Rochambeau for the 1-2-3. Towards the end of the match, Javon Evans' emotions got the best of him. So he and Ethan Page, they brawled through the crowd. Ricky was able to take out both Tyreek and Tyson, and then he hit the Rochambeau to take out Wes Lee. And Ricky Starks stood tall, and that was it. So NXT was solid for the most part. I like what they're doing with Ricky Starks. It seems like he'll probably have his first singles match at Roadblock, which makes sense. So that gives them enough time to build a quick little mini feud between him and Wes Lee. And then once Wes Lee loses to Ricky Saints, it's time for Wes Lee to go to the main roster. It's just time. They got to do something with Wes Lee. It seems like they also might be calling up the Metaphor Girls, Last Legend, and Jakara Jackson. They're probably going to end up calling Fallon Henley and JC Jane up soon as well. That makes sense. Either run them as a tag team or put one of them on Raw, the other one on SmackDown. So, but NXT continues to be solid. Obviously, it's clearly the best wrestling show of the week. And I am excited for next week. But what did you guys... Well, no. I liked most of the stuff that they did on this show. Obviously, the TNA stuff is great. I'm loving the Hardys. Moose is okay. I'm loving the little mini feud, the little mini feuds between Javon Evans and Ethan Page. Same thing with the mini feud between what's his name, Ricky Saints and Wes Lee. I do like that. I like what they're doing with Trick Williams. He's definitely going to get his redemption arc. So I like that. You know, NXT continues to kick major ass for the most part. It's still better than Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite. But what did you guys think of NXT? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.